Hey guys, SunDown here. This is giving my chapter review to My Hero Academia or Boku no Hero Academia 182, Discharge, the Culture Festival. Now, if you've been following my Hero Academia reviews, you'll probably have guessed that I wasn't so much a fan of this chapter in particular. And we got to see a few things. We got to see some Jiro development. I'm not too sure why or how it mattered. We got to see some more Bakugo development, which was nice to see. We got to see everyone using their quirks in creative ways and all that. We got to see Eddie and her smile, but it all just seemed very fillerish and kind of, because of that, boring to me. You know, there wasn't that story progression I'm always looking for. So we start with a small flashback. Aoyama meets Deku as Ectoplasm drops him off at the performance, and he's told by Ectoplasm, this is Deku, to clean up so that no one worries about him. You know, he's bleeding, his nose has been punched in and everything like that, so he needs to really clean up before he goes, which he does. Which takes us back to the start of the performance, where President Mike and Aoyama tell us that some petty students from the really petty students from the second and third years and other departments within UA are here really with the intention to criticize Class 1A rather than enjoying their performance, blaming them for the state of things at UA at the moment, you know, with the whole lockdown and police involvement and things like that. So this was a part of the chapter where I thought it was kind of like an unnecessary undertone to the chapter, you know, this kind of brooding pettiness from the second and third years and other departments. I was like, we've been told that the second, third year kids and other department kids they're all kind of fatigued and shiz, all that kind of stuff. And they're looking for a break, which would mean that they would come to a performance more hyped because of this kind of like break element, because of the lack of having to focus on anything with the intention to succeed. This is just them blowing off steam. So the fact that they're coming here just to be petty and direct their hatred towards Class 1A, I was like, it seems counterproductive. If they really had beef with Class 1A, then they simply wouldn't have gone to their performance. So that would have been simpler. And I was like, this is kind of like, why did we need this part of the chapter? And then later on, when you see them kind of turn their heads around, well, turn their attitudes complete 180, and they suddenly don't have beef anymore. I'm just like, okay, like, why did we need this? This didn't need to be. It didn't add to the chapter, I thought, in any way. So with that, the performance starts with a bang as Bakugo explodes as he smashes his crashes on the kit. We also get the beginning of a small flashback for Jiro here. She's something like saying she's free to do whatever she wants, and this was like just the beginning of a flashback, and we come back to that later. So the performance goes full tilt with the dance squad going ham, Jiro thanking the audience for being there, the attendees. We also see our first bunch of unfinished panels, which is something very unique to this chapter. There were panels within this chapter which you could see the planning of the drawing had gone in. So there's like little frameworks of models and stuff like that. So someone might be Aoyama and there's a framework of him, and there's like little sound effects and things like that in the panel, but they've not been completed at all. Now, I was completely fine with this because I know of the situation the authors were in, having to having to create almost 2 chapters within an 8 to 9 day span before Golden Week, so that there was something after Golden Week that that Shonen could basically dish out. Very difficult deadline for the authors to meet. So I was completely fine with this, and for those of you who weren't, just stop being asshats. Really, I mean, like, really, the guys had to make 2 chapters in 8 to 9 days. That's not something they usually do 1 chapter in 8 to 9 days. Come on. So Aoyama and Deku do their kind of floating disco ball thing, which was very cool but very short-lived, with Ochako and Tsuyu taking the stage almost straight after them. And then we have Mina and that sticky tape dude and everyone pretty much preparing as Todoroki summons these like horizontal spires of ice across the air above the crowd, so just below the ceiling. And I think Mina and Sticky Tape Dude, here they were providing Todoroki with like a path for his ice to freeze across, to travel across, because Mina's throwing his like his balls in the air, and Sticky Tape Dude is throwing his sticky tape in like horizontal lines across. And when you see the frozen spies, you see that Mina's balls are in there, and the Sticky Tape Dude's sticky tape is in there as well. I forgot his name and I can't be bothered to search it up. So I really think that was just so that Todoroki could find a path with his ice. So the really cool thing here actually was how Suyu launched Ochako across the crowd, allowing her to like high five everyone and allowing them to kind of get involved with the whole performance, allowing them to float. Really awesome idea, and obviously safety first, so they had to sticky tape everyone down to the spires of ice. And that was all fun. That was pretty cool. I like that part. Kirishima goes topless. Kaminari goes air guitar. Invisible Girl goes invisible. she's still invisible. Like they highlight her, but there's not much to see. I'm not. Is that racist? I don't know. But so you see Iida, he gets caught just doing the robot. He's like on repeat, just doing the robot. That was hilarious and hilariously like him. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And in the middle of all this craziness, we return to Jiro's flashback. It's a flashback of her telling her parents that she doesn't want to pursue this kind of dream of her becoming a musician, but rather she wants to pursue a dream of her becoming a hero. And she's brought to tears, thinking that her parents won't support her in this key decision, or that they'd be disappointed in her future aspirations. And her parents turn out to just be really supportive parents, really nice parents, saying that at the point they are as musicians, they think about what their music can give to people and how it can help them and such. So seeing Jiro trying to become a hero is similar in the sense that she'll still be looking for ways to give to people and help people in whatever way she can, which is almost similar to how what they're trying to do with their music. And just a question I want to ask here is why. I'm genuinely curious about this, by the way, and I have nothing against Jiro, but why has Horikoshi been focusing so much on Jiro in these last in this mini arc? Really, he's been focusing on Jiro whenever Class 1A interactions have been occurring, and I genuinely want to know why. I mean, like, I have no qualms with it, but it's almost as if he's trying to give her trying to develop her character and give her characterization before something bad happens to her. Because even in this chapter, I'm not sure if I just interpreted it wrong, but it felt like Horikoshi was trying to show kind of like this internal conflict with Jiro, almost as if like she was trying to cement her reasoning for wanting to become a hero. Even with this flashback, she's kind of reiterating that it's to help people and really to give back to the people. And that's why she didn't pursue her life as a musician, because maybe this is the better decision for her in terms of I can help people better this way. But that internal conflict was really weird because her parents supported her idea. She was always very willful and supported her own idea. So I'm not too sure why that this thing was being presented, this kind of a flashback, because there was no real conflict, and I don't know why this was being shown. Unless it was like just trying to develop her character before something happens to her. So I'm very wary of Jiro's future, because I'm not too sure if she's gonna make it. So let's just see what happens. Well, I'll hold my tongue on that, but watch out for Jiro's future. We then see the upperclassmen forced into enjoying the event, forgetting their petty beef with Class 1A, as Jiro ad-libs and Bakugo's slight annoyance. And here we see, like I mentioned before, Bakugo's slight growth as well, acknowledging cooperation as being more key to the event and to his class rather than his own desire to stand out. We then got this awesome panel of, like, this is my favorite part of the chapter by far. We got this awesome panel of the demon, the metaphorical demon of Overhaul surrounding Eddie, and this thing that Deku and Mirio have really been trying to get rid of. They've been trying to get rid of this demon surrounding Eddie for ages, and as the performance hits its peak, you can see the demon of Overhaul just being blown away, with Eddie finally smiling and enjoying herself unconditionally. And I loved how emotional Mirio got here, still thinking about Night Eye and how they'd finally accomplished their mission, which they'd set out for what has been really just a short amount of time ago, but has felt like so long ago. However, the other side to this kind of Eddie moment was that it seemed very fast and almost like a very cheap way for me personally to rid Eddie of her trauma. I mean, like, I'm no psychological expert at all, zero psychological experience or anything like that, but one performance I think wouldn't be enough to iron out or reforge the mind of someone who's been constantly abused for years. And I just think there's got to be a few of you at least that agree with that sentiment. I mean, like, I really enjoyed this scene, but it just seemed a little cheap. It would require a lengthy process possibly, to recuperate and recover, and I just think it was, like I said, a little bit cheap. But this was supposed to be a very lighthearted, a very joyous moment, so I'll just let it rest with that. And I'm happy that Eddie has finally gotten rid of the demon of overhaul resting on her shoulders. So we got some Jiro development, very small, although I mentioned before for like 2 minutes, I'm not too sure why or how or why or when we needed Jiro's development, or why this internal conflict, if there is any, has been shown. But that's why you guys are here. Hopefully if I've made a mistake, or if you feel that I've overlooked something about Jiro, then tell me. Just tell me I'm chatting shit. Or just tell me politely. It depends on which way you want to go. We got some Bakugo development. We got Eddie smiling and breaking free of overhaul, all in the guise of this culture festival. And when you put it like that, it really does make this chapter sound better. But I still feel like seeing these, seeing events like these slows down the story for me. Like, you know, in the guise of a culture festival, and it doesn't really do what I expect each chapter to do, which is what I mentioned at the beginning, which is progressing the story. So, as I mentioned right at the beginning, I wasn't a big fan of this chapter, but I do realize that we got some small developments as well as one large one from this chapter. So, a decent chapter, probably about a 3-4 out of 10, but it wasn't horrendous. It just wasn't story progressing, and that's what I always look for in a chapter. So, let me know what you guys thought of the chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of this review. I'm guessing you'll disagree with quite a bit of what I had to say, but that's the nature of these reviews. We're meant to debate and disagree over many things, whatever. So let me know what you guys thought of this chapter. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in a bit.